welcome to the 31st stream birthday thing. No, I'm kidding. How's everybody doing? Thank you. I appreciate that. Good. I'm hanging in there. Thank you, Heat. I appreciate that. Thank you, Spread It Forward. Maybe you'd take a call in later. I can send some good wishes and send some farming information. Oh. Touring. That sounds actually like a great idea. Since usually I only stream for anywhere from like for about 2 hours ish. Maybe right before, maybe like in the halftime. Not to hijack your birthday, but I did have it first 1 year earlier. True. A happy birthday beer? Where? What? I'm 32 today? Oh, what? Wait a minute. Hold on. That's right. We actually share birthdays. Oh my goodness. Well, 31, 32, the cycle continues. Sweet. Happy birthdays? Yeah, we have a birthday bonanza. We have a back-to-back birthday bonanza. Yeah, all we're doing is celebrating today. Nice. Excellent. Yes, indeed, I'll get my PC all set up for your halftime like you said. Oh, for sure. Heat coming in with the 11 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, Pirate Ninja. Yes, indeed it is. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Thank you. I appreciate that. We love you, ADT. I thought it was 10 biddies. 10, 11, 5, 1 biddies. I appreciate it. Okay? Thank you. Oh, we got another 7 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. 12 biddies. What? It's Biddy Bonanza. Thank you. I appreciate that, Heat. Take my energy. This is like, this is some Dragon Ball Z vibes going on over here. This is like some spirit bomb energy going on over here. So for those of you that are kindly joining in today for the first is I think this would be first or second year of the birthday bonanza. As you know, we have the co-host who has her birthday in May, and then a couple of months later, then it's my birthday. But this would be, I believe this would be the second year, right? I believe. I just want to say thank you guys so much, and I appreciate that. So for my birthday, I have a couple of requests which I will ask of you folks throughout the stream. The first request is a poll, actually. You guys are going to help, or can help decide the outlook or design, I guess, of the stream. So I guess overlay would be. So overlay 1, full screen. Overlay 2, you have the blue background, I guess. I'm gonna run this poll for as long as possible. So, overlay number 1, which is this one. Overlay number 2, which is this one. Overlay 1, overlay 2. Alright, we got one vote for overlay 1. Putting on my makeup, guys, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Keep the biddies coming. Birthday biddies, yes. That's what we'll call them today. Alright, that's what we'll call them today. Birthday biddies. I feel like I'm at the eye doc. Ooh. To be fair, I should probably see one of those. Both, neither. Yes? We've got quite a few headlines to go through. Listen, folks. Just because it is my birthday doesn't mean the news stops, alright? Just because it's my birthday does not mean the news stops. So we definitely do have quite a few headlines to go through. Alright, folks. Let me make sure we got everything correct. Okay. So I guess we'll start with some Florida.
Gets vaccinated. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis made it absolutely crystal clear this week that even though he supports vaccinations and hopes everybody goes and gets vaccinated, he'll be damned if he's going to let Florida counties, school districts, and individual schools themselves put mask mandates in place. And he says if you put mask mandates in place for the children who are coming back to school, in some cases in just a week or two, you put a mask mandate in place and I will have the government of the state overrule it. You cannot force these children, he says, to wear face coverings while indoors in a school surrounded by
Chill
other
Brazilian,
people.
thank you so much for the follow.
Because I'll overturn it.
Hey, for
Basically, what he's saying is
the
that,
show must go on. Congrats on making another trip around the sun. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Right now, and cases have doubled in just the last week, and they're continuing to go up. But if you try to do something to protect children, I'ma come after you.
Don't DeSantis, my Florida. True.
Here is a quote of what he said that shows just how brain dead this moron is. At the end of the day, we got to start putting our kids first. We got to look out for their education.
I want to vote, but I don't know what the options are. Okay, so, howdy, first and foremost. And the options are, number 1 is like the full screen. And number 2, sorry and good morning, of course. Of course. I'm just glad you're here. And option 2 is a more scaled down version. A more scaled down version. So we got option 1, bloop, and option 2. Full screen, easy. All right, that's 2. That's 2, folks.
Is it really comfortable? Is it really healthy for them to be muzzled and have their breathing obstructed all day long in school?
All right.
I don't think
I'll take
it is. See, you don't think it is. You don't think it is. But Ron, you never went to medical school, did you? No, you didn't.
Did not.
So maybe you should listen to the doctors who, according to this article here from the Miami Herald, say that that's not a thing. Their breathing is not obstructed.
True. Okay,
this
hold on.
This is not negatively impact.
Hold on. How many times do we have to like go and how many times do we have to go through the whole like masks inhibit breathing? What? How many times do we have to dispel that? I mean, like, we've had doctors and nurses consistently measure oxygen levels because apparently people need this nowadays. Consistently measure oxygen levels, even with like, obviously for the memes, but like even with like 10 masks and like oxygen levels were the same. Ask the firefighters in Cali how long they can work without their masks. Yeah, masks work. I've heard that COVID has a permanent impact on breathing. Yes, it does. Long COVID is a thing. Long-term effects of COVID, even if you didn't end up with like severe symptoms during your bout, like if you go through a bout of like COVID and it wasn't really that bad because obviously, you know, you're on the healthier side, you're on the younger side, newsflash, down the road you could still be affected by long COVID. Well, I was also referring to, you know, literally dying. That's also a possibility. A friend of mine caught the coronavirus last year, and she still can't taste food. She feels no flavor. Yeah, guys, but sure, you know, nothing. It's like, the more important thing to take away from, like, the whole coronavirus thing isn't the fact that, like, the death rate is low, because like, yeah, it is, but first of all, it's not just about you. You can transmit the virus that is incredibly infectious to other people who may not survive a bout with COVID. You don't know that. You don't know if the person you're with or next to you or traveling around with has a comorbidity factor, whatever it's called, insert scientific term here, that may lead them to have a very severe case of COVID. You don't know that. It's not about you, okay? It's about trying to stamp out this pandemic, you know? And second of all, long COVID is a real thing. The real problem with this virus is the long COVID, the long-term effects, right? Even in healthy people, even in kids. So yeah, it's the long COVID that's the problem here. People are having like difficulty with they're having lung problems, they're having even kidney problems and other problems that are now starting to show up months later. I'll never get that out of the head. The video of the man saying I'd rather die than wear a goddamn mask. Well, I mean, COVID doesn't distinguish between your political ideology. Okay, COVID doesn't care. Shit, people without comorbidities, not that old, are on deathbeds. That's right. You know, for those of you that don't follow the UFC, the UFC is the Ultimate Fighter competition, or Ultimate Fighter something, right? As you know, Dana White is the president of the UFC. He's a pretty notorious for like not giving a crap about his athletes. Like some real Vince McMahon from the wrestling, some real Vince McMahon vibes where he doesn't really care about the athletes and stuff like that. He had a policy of like, yeah, well, they can wear masks if they want to, or they can do this if they want to, or whatnot. Yeah, some of those UFC fighters who are professional athletes, UFC fighters go through rigorous athletic training, rigorous exercise. There's some of the most like physically fit people are a handful of them have experienced or are experiencing long COVID and threaten their career. I mean, like that borderline almost ended their career. You know, like, oh yeah, you know, their original bout with COVID wasn't that bad because they're healthy, but some are experiencing long COVID effects that are now and now their career is on the line. KTS Shine resubscribe with the 2 months. Thank you so much. Morning. I appreciate that. Hey James. The main statistic that should concern America is that some of the 99% of fatalities are of unvaccinated people. Yes, that is currently true. I can't think of a worse respiratory illness than COVID, even while the odds of dying are relatively low. Right, it's not about dying. Like, I can't, like, get that out of, like, it blows my mind how, like, a lot of these people, are so fixated on the death rate. They're so fixated on the death rate without realizing, like, okay, dude, you didn't die, but now you spent, like, 7 days at the hospital, and God knows what your long-term effects are now because, like, you know, you didn't want to wear a mask or you didn't want to get vaccinated, you know. And worst of all, you could spread that to other people. That's even the worst part about it. Because if it's just something that would affect you, then, I mean, like, you know, hey, if you want to be naturally selected, but it's not like that. You affect other people. Like people like don't have that. These people don't have the capacity to think that. I wonder how my actions can affect others. Americans tune out when you talk about helping others. Yeah, by wearing them. Yeah, true. True. Like it is my God-given right to own the libs as I'm getting intubated on a ventilator. I swear. That's how these people think.
Impacting their health. However, the doctors that spoke to the Miami Herald do say not letting them wear masks or not forcing them to wear masks could be detrimental to their health. We have seen perfectly healthy children, school-age children, drop dead from COVID. I know we all know the story.
Yeah, that just happened. I understand that it's not like a lot, but there are cases of just completely healthy young kids just dropping dead. That's exactly. That's why comparing not wearing a mask to adrenaline sports like skydiving and bungee jumping makes no sense. If you bungee jump and then we hang out, I'm not gonna suddenly go bungee jumping a couple days later. True. Like, listen, I mean, like, we're at the point of like, I'm literally willing to risk everybody's like public safety to own the libs.
5-year-old from Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, dead from the Delta variant. We have seen plenty of other children over the last 17 months die from COVID. Okay, this is not something that, as Marjorie Taylor Greene said, only affects the elderly or the obese. Folks, this can cause lifelong problems even in children who survive it.
Right, that's the whole point. Like, it isn't the death rate, although it is, like, already horrifying. I mean, like, what, easily over 600,000 have died, but, like, it isn't just the death rate. And people need to, like, get over themselves and, like, understand that people's actions in this scenario, like, absolutely affect others. And, like, people need to, like, these type of people, we're going around, like, crying about, like, masks. We're going around crying about vaccines. Need to, A, get over themselves, and B, like, behave like adults. I mean, like, behave like adults. Seriously. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, like, a child throwing a tantrum because their parents are, like, asking them to, like, I don't know, like, hey, look, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't, I don't know, touch the stove because it's hot. And the child then throws a tantrum and then proceeds to touch the stove. And then a surprised Pikachu face when the stove is hot. And as they're being treated in the emergency room for the stove burns, then they throw another tantrum. Like, this is literally how it looks like to me. At this point, if you're like one of these people, like, honestly, you're acting like a literal child. My 4-year-old wears her mask, just saying. Well, your 4-year-old has more sense than most of these folks. Just saying. Your 4-year-old has more sense than hashtag not all kids, but you get my point. Your 4-year-old has more sense than these people.
And as usual, Republicans say, well, it's up to you. You want to protect yourself, you can wear a mask.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not about you. This is like what triggers me. Like, oh yeah, well, you can do it if you want. No, bro. I mean, like, I want to get over this stupid pandemic, alright? I want it done. I want it to be over with.
I'm going to have my kids wear a mask, which I'm sure is totally going to be cool. Like, what's going to happen to the 2 or 3 kids that show up wearing a face mask and the 15 kids that aren't? You know what they're going to do? Because we know what kids do. They're going to mock them. They're going to make fun of them.
Or like, I don't know, like, they'll just take off their mask or something. Like, I don't know, like, Jesus Christ. I agree, Chai Bureaucrat. We need to stop the steal. Sam Cedar denies the existence of the 773 area code, and we need to make sure that the 773 area code gets the attention it deserves. I agree. Yes, and they'll get all each other sick, and yeah, like, not only that, like, they'll bring it home. Like, they'll bring it home. they'll bring it home, even if they don't get sick, or even if like maybe the children, because like the young children are mostly, I believe, asymptomatic. They won't know. They're bringing it home to the parents who may actually get sick, who may actually have to now take time off work, all this other stuff. I mean, like, people don't think. They really don't. Echo underscore Lou. Hey, thank you so much for the 10 biddies. Happy birthday. I appreciate that. Is this grown man really saying that he doesn't want to wear a mask because he'll get called names by children? Wait, who? Who, Ron DeSantis? No, I don't know if that's his argument.
They're going to call them wusses and wimps and what other kind of names that I don't want to say here. That's what's going to happen, and it's going to cause those kids to take their masks off. You know what really muzzles a child, Ron DeSantis? A ventilator.
True. But, okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to stop that right there, because, like, the chances are, I don't know. I have yet to see a case where a child is on a ventilator, so I'm gonna be very careful with that. I'm gonna be very careful with that, because we also want to make sure that we're doing everything, you know, as accurate as possible. But my point being is that it's not about necessarily the children. It's about what the children can bring home to the adults, which then can put the parents out of commission, or worse yet, if they're living with grandparents, that could be worse. Or worse yet, spread it to somebody who can be affected by it. Like,
yeah, a giant tube going down your throat into your lungs. Yeah, that makes it a little hard for a kid to talk.
Yeah,
That's what makes kids to breathe.
I don't know.
With children who attended schools last year.
I just want to be very careful, like, before, like, you know, I just want to be very careful.
Mask mandates were in effect. I never once had my asthmatic children come home and say, oh, I can't breathe. Never happened. And 2 of my kids have pretty severe asthma. Never complained once. Even in the Florida heat, they didn't complain about it. In fact, my kids and many of their other friends actually liked the masks. They like them as fashion statements. They like to get the coolest, most colorful, you know, oh, this one's camouflage. Oh, this one's got lightning bolts on it. They actually enjoy them, Ron.
Ron DeSantis.
But by coming out there and saying that you're going to literally forbid schools from being able to protect children, what you're doing is giving a wink and a nod to the child coffin industry.
Nah, I think I don't know. I think that the irresponsibility is the fact that, like, because kids who are under 12 are not eligible for the vaccine, because kids under 12 are not eligible for the vaccine, the best course of action in attempting to make sure that we can slow this down in any way, shape, or form, knowing the fact that a lot of kids act essentially as, like, what we would call vectors, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, and most kids end up being asymptomatic and spread it, right? So I think that's the problem. Therefore, these younger kids who are not eligible, these kids who are not eligible for a vaccine should then, just common sense, should be then wearing masks. Are you a doctor? Have you studied in medicine? No, that's why I'm not commenting on any type of, like, where I'm not asserting that I am, or any of that. I'm going off the knowledge that doctors and people have said. In other words, I'm just following CDC guidelines. Alio resubscribing for 9 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, Madame Defarge, how's it going? Chicago schools, kids are wearing masks. Yeah, I think that's probably common sense, that if they are not eligible for the vaccine, then the younger kids wear masks. That's it. It's not that complicated.
Telling them that, hey, business is going to be booming in just a few weeks. Ring of Fire has fresh content.
Since Florida is no longer reporting daily cases, the last numbers that we have are 27,000 new cases with a 7-day average of 10,000. So if we go back to last year, or the beginning of this year, we're at what? Early this year? Oh wow, we even have more than ever last year. Jesus Christ. Thanks for the shout out, of course. Republicans are changing the misinformation because the voters, yes, they've done a pretty 180, a pretty 180 in terms of messaging nowadays. But you know, listen, it's already too late. Job interview. Hi, Ron. Decent ass. Please have a seat. We got both sides of complaints. Schools aren't properly ventilated. Distancing will be a challenge, and requiring masks is an unbelievable infringement. Yeah, like, listen, bud. You know what else is an unbelievable infringement? The fact that because of all of these cases continue to spike, it will force officials to make decisions on whether or not we should go back to lockdown. And if you don't like lockdowns, then get over yourself and get vaccinated. And if you're not eligible for vaccination because you're obviously under 12, then wear a mask. Masking won't make a difference. That's absolutely not true. That's absolutely not true. Like, just objectively not true. By Easter should be gone. Some orange turd in 2020. True. Like, objectively, it absolutely does. I love how, like, he comes in here asking if I'm a doctor and then says some, like, unbelievably, like, like, a wild claim. I just got a text from my 17-year-old saying that she might be ready to get vaccinated. She had seen too many TikToks and has been fighting me on it. I'm so happy right now. Hey! One victory at a time, Madame Defarge. One victory at a time. People are saying masks have no effect, also asking for credentials, while at the same time not respecting people with credentials. True. Yeah, thank you, KTS. That's probably a better, exactly. TikTok saves the day. Listen, TikTok, there needs to be a more, like, lefty presence in TikTok, or at least, like, a more level-headed presence on TikTok, because holy yikes. Even though there are good, like, factions in terms of, like, where you can, good rabbit holes where you can go into TikTok, I have seen some wild disinformation on TikTok. I've seen some wild disinformation on TikTok that has a lot of views. I stay away from TikTok. These copers are pathetic. It's like not even cope. You're just not living in, like, you're living in an alternate reality, and quite frankly, you're acting like a child. Like, anybody who, like, at this point can't at this point, like if this is like your attitude, knowing, having access to like data, having access to all of this information, being told by like officials and like health professionals, doctors, I don't know what to tell you. You're just acting like a child. Anyways, when got impressed at his step, I went to Johns Hopkins and Sloan. True. Yeah, Trump is still giving speeches and slurring words. Alright, so that being said, Trump is leading the nation in number of new daily COVID cases. Yeah. Cool. Anything to, anything to own the libs, right? As of Friday morning, Florida was one of the three states accounting for 40% of all new COVID infections. Despite the rise in numbers, Governor DeSantis is not vowing to issue any COVID mandates or lockdowns. Nice. Cool. I'm sure this will have absolutely no effect on any of this. Even though we're back to at an all-time high, we've literally reverted back to last year type numbers with an average of like 10,000 cases, a 7-day average of 10,000, a last reported 27,000. Yeah, so we're doing great. We're doing phenomenal, folks. At what point did they realize the majority of people dying would be the people that voted for them? They are starting to realize that, Pirate Ninja. They are. That's why they're doing this whole, 180. They're doing a whole 180 campaign right now. Did you see what Mitch McConnell said? He's like, just take the vaccine. Even Ron DeSantis was like, was saying vaccine save lives. So that's McConnell, DeSantis, what's this clown's name? Hannity. Hannity has been like, oh yeah, complete 180. As soon as all of a sudden act like they know everything. Are the legit getting silenced by mainstream? So you're not even disputing the fact of like, you're not, dude. Are you just here to spread like the virus is political? The virus is political. The virus doesn't care about politics. Okay. The virus doesn't care about politics. You're the one that's making it political. When going against lockdowns and vaccines? What? What does that mean? What does it mean to go against vaccines? What? Anyways, DeSantis said that despite the rise of number of COVID cases, lockdown and the statewide mask mandates will not be happening in Florida. Very good. He said he's successfully handling the situation without them. Hey folks, does this look like a successful handling of the situation? Does this look like Florida has it under control? Does it look like we're doing great? I mean, just by like taking a look at the graph. Does it look like we have it under control? Does it look like we're doing great? Yeah, that's literally Ron DeSantis. Like everything is on fire. But yeah, here we go. Hold on. If you study medicine, you know vaccinated, take it. So I'm glad people are being skeptical about this, not blinding, getting unvaccinated. Wait, oh no. Oh, we have a pseudo doctor in chat. Hey, buddy, did you know that actually this vaccine was went through rigorous testing, and furthermore, this is like really bizarre to me because like, even though this vaccine has shown monumental success, by all accounts in the data, by all accounts on the data, there's still people who are still skeptical for absolutely no reason to be. Okay. Unvaccinated account for 97 to 98% of new infections. Yeah, of course, because like, hey, it turns out vaccines are about 90-ish% effective. Wow, amazing. It's like the numbers like completely coincide with each other. Wow. Yeah, he has a PhD from his armchair. Community college? You would know that this vaccine has taken the exact same trials. This vaccine has also been researched since SARS. True. Yeah, like, you know what? This is a type of like clown world logic that like Sprouticus from that panel. Oh my god, I was so like how should I say, triggered. If you watched a Hippy Dippy the other night, I think it was Friday. Jesus Christ. Sprouticus. He sounds just like Sprouticus. They had trials and immense research on coronavirus and vaccination for decades. True. Sprouticus and CTV are the same person. Prove me wrong. True. No, wait, hold on. I think Sprouticus cries more. Honestly. I think Sprouticus cries more. How's it going, Darknet? Yeah, here we go. This is Florida right now. The state is averaging about 6,500 cases per day. That number has nearly doubled in just 1 week and quadrupled in just a month. Yeah, because that's how infections work. The governor said he believes the uptick is seasonal, but many doctors... Yeah, hey, I too remember about reading the extensive credentials Ron DeSantis has as a virologist and epidemiologist. Yeah, I too remember for him to make this judgment call, like, oh, I believe it's it's seasonal. But many doctors disagree. They say the difference now it's the far more contagious Delta variant. Yeah, because the Delta variant is attributed to what? The overwhelming majority of new infections. It's become the dominant strain. That's why. This isn't hard to figure out. Either way, both the doctors and governors are encouraging people to get the vaccines. Yeah, so get the vaccine. Get the vaccine. Get the vaccine if you're eligible for it. Get the vaccine. If you have any type of concerns, talk to your doctor. They'll sort it out for you. Mask and vaccine denial is leading to so much unnecessary death. True. Before Surfside, Miami Safety Board sided with building owners more than inspectors. The Miami-Dade building inspector was concerned. Buckley Towers, a high-rise condominium in Ogis section of Miami, had not filed its comprehensive safety assessment since 2009 as required and had not made necessary repairs. Now in January of 2011, the inspector was back before a county oversight arguing for action. It was the second time the inspector had brought Buckley Towers to the attention of the quasi-judicial entity charged with keeping the building safe across Miami-Dade County. 2 days earlier, the inspector had recommended that the board require the 564-unit property to certify its safety in 30 days and bring it up to code within 6 months. Yeah, so we can start seeing where problems begin to arise here, because although there are good hey Placebo Lauren, how's it going? I heard it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now we're very complex source showing that it does in fact take a bit of brain power to decipher between healthy information and disinfo, and the disinfo is so strong it's delivered in clever and undetectable ways to those who are not that bright. Yeah, that's a massive problem. Spread it forward. That is a massive problem. We're running into a wall here in resource-deprived communities. Only about 30% vaccination, while more affluent are near 70%. Thank you. I appreciate that. Madame Defarge with 100 biddies. Thank you. I think our efforts to vaccinate working people just haven't been good enough. Yes, but they can set all locations we open, but that doesn't help a person who works 6-hour days and has kids. Yes. That's true. So I think that to alleviate that situation... Thank you. Yes, it is my birthday. I appreciate that. I think then, like, what needs to be done is what supposedly this administration is doing, which rolling out, like, mobile vaccination... mobile vaccination, I don't want to say clinics, but like, more like RVs that would show up to your workplace if need be, or literally people pay people to take off work. Yeah, whichever one, just get it, just make it as easy as possible, and if not, just go to them. I mean, like, at this point, like, Jesus Christ, can we all just, hey, Can we all just be like adults for the next like 2 months? Okay? Can we all just be adults for the next 2 months? Jesus Christ. And back then, the board had given Buckley Towers more time to comply. Now the building's attorney said it did not have money for the work and needed 5 more years for repairs. The building does take the matter very seriously. The result, the Buckley Towers got another reprieve from oversight group known as the Miami-Dade Unsafe Structure Board. In mid-January of 2011, it gave the condo 4.25 more years to finish repairs. So do y'all see what the problem is here? Do y'all see what the problem is here? I get scoffed at by conservatives that spending $1 on poor people is useless. Well, Jesus Christ. That's horrible. That's not a good way. That's not a healthy, like, train of thought there. So the TLDR of this article is, well, if you don't enforce regulations and you don't have a proper way of enforcing these type of building codes, or any regulation for that matter, then it's useless. Then it's useless. Because then you have incidents like Surfside, right? That's the TLDR of this article.
Devastating development in the fight against climate change. Oftentimes when we think of the Amazon rainforest, we think of it as an important part of fighting
True.
CO2 in the atmosphere because it's known to absorb CO2. However, because of the damage done to the rainforest, which was accelerated under Bolsonaro in Brazil, now there are parts of the rainforest that are actually emitting CO2. So I want to give you these data points because it gives you a sense of just how much damage human behavior.
Yes, I saw a research about this, that like at this point the Amazon isn't absorbing as much CO2, and I think it's actually we're like flipping the tables on that, and like this is part of like tipping points that we need to pay attention to, because like this will lead to the Amazon transitioning to no longer rainforest ecosystems, but to a savanna ecosystem, and that brings its own domino effects. It's not good. Yes, thanks. You can thank the beef industry, who has absolutely nothing to do with climate change. You can thank the beef industry
is doing to our planet, to our environment. Findings from the nearly decade-long research project published in the journal Nature suggest that deforestation
for the beef industry
and fire, among other factors, have dramatically undercut the Amazon's ability to absorb heat-trapping carbon emissions from the atmosphere. The results showed the greatest changes to the ecological balance in areas that had suffered large-scale deforestation and had been heavily burned to dispose of dead trees and to clear land. So I want to
or the beef industry.
Direct your attention to this map that gives you a sense of how much damage has been done by essentially chopping down trees. If you look at the pink areas, those are the areas that indicate the most deforestation. And so it's not a surprise that as you get closer to Brazil, the pink areas are a little more common because Bolsonaro certainly had no interest in protecting the Amazon, and
that's right.
And he certainly was very much in favor of allowing for an accelerated rate of deforestation
for the beef industry
to take place. Can't wait for him to lose to Lula da Silva in the upcoming elections in Brazil. But this is just terrifying stuff, Francesca. I mean, we talk about climate policy in the context of the United States, but really this is something that requires collaboration globally. And it's just, we have to keep fighting, but it's difficult to see a light at the end of the tunnel with the United States, for instance, still using incredibly hawkish rhetoric toward China and Russia. And then it's also difficult when you think about other right-wing leaders globally who also don't seem to take climate change very seriously and have rolled back any progress that's been made on this effort.
Yeah, it is infuriating to see like just how effed we are in terms of like the situation, and it's also quite frustrating to see, quite frankly, the inaction, right? The blatant inaction, despite knowing, because there's just no way that none of these folks are aware of what's happening. I refuse to believe that nobody is completely just like blind to what's happening. I refuse to believe that, right? I refuse to believe that like these leaders don't know what's happening. I refuse to believe that like, you know, the Biden administration, who has mentioned and has given rhetoric about climate change, doesn't know what's happening. It's hard to believe that, especially after we know a lot of these industries and companies who have hidden research for decades, from the oil industry, the beef industry, who have hidden all of these like petrochemical plants, have hidden research and studies for decades We've known about the possibility of this being a thing more than 100 years ago. I mean, these people know. And they're condemning future generations. And by future generations, I mean the next generation. This isn't like, this isn't something that like, that's gonna happen down the line. It's already happening, but I'm saying you're condemning the next generation, which is less than 100 years, to this future. I mean, that's on your that's on like these leaders' conscience, right? It has to be. These people have to know. They're just choosing not to act. Because, like, I don't know. I refute the idea that Greta Thunberg said that, like, oh, I refuse to believe that you guys, like, don't know what's going on because that would make you evil. Well, I'm sorry. They are. I read this morning that our water tables are depleted in states, and one of the main factors is our alfalfa production. We make tons of the stuff to feed dairy cows to produce the nation's milk. Yeah. I'm not surprised. It takes 100 gallons of water to produce 1 gallon of milk, but they want to blame the water shortages on weed growers. Jesus Christ.
Totally. You're 100% right. I mean, this is what happens when you let strongman demagogue dictators run amok throughout the world. I mean, that's what Bolsonaro does. There's no reason for Bolsonaro.
I mean, yes, but it's not just these like strongmen, right? I mean, like, the US arguably has the biggest share responsibility, right? Arguably the US has a big share of its responsibility, and yet here we are opening up like permits. The United Kingdom isn't really the United Kingdom isn't being led necessarily by the United Kingdom isn't like authoritarian, and yet they're opening or we're considering opening new coal mines, right? Germany isn't really considered being run by an authoritarian regime, and weren't they making deals to get more fossil fuel pipelines or something like that? Yeah, I don't know. It's not just although obviously the fact that the fact that it just happens that the ruler of Brazil is an authoritarian, and the fact that geographically speaking the Amazon rainforest is an important part of our planet's then yeah, that's kind of a problem. I see that.
Bolsonaro to negotiate with Trump, right? Because you just get into this endless whataboutism. To negotiate with Trump before, or anything. So that's what happens when you have strong men in their own camps. Your chances of diplomacy completely unravel, and the reason diplomacy matters is because climate change is a global issue.
Darknet Hitman gifting a tier 1 sub to Pirate Ninja. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. They have given 2 gifted subs. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It has to be tackled globally. And I know it's hard for leftists who are like, man, can the US do anything good in the world? It's a good question, but if there's one reason why we need to keep on trying, it's to stop climate change and to curb climate change. And there's a number of ways that can happen. First of all, countries like Brazil need to be paid to preserve the Amazon. full stop. Because the only reason that these fires are burning is because it's more profitable to use that land for monocrop and culture, whether it's soy, wheat.
I mean, yes, but also,
most things are actually for export for foreign cows. That's
Thank you.
Foreign cows.
Thank you, Jesus.
But for cattle and livestock to eat, to then sell
That's right.
to Americans and other first world countries, right? So like it's all this self-perpetuating, terrible recipe for climate chaos. It's gotta be more profitable for that country to preserve the Amazon. So no one, it should be illegal to be buying anything like feed from formerly deforested Amazon rainforest. That should be illegal. And countries like the United States, countries like China, countries like, in Western Europe who have contributed vastly to the amount of CO2, disproportionately to the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere, need to be shelling over the dough. There is no other way.
Only 6% of soy is grown for human consumption? Wait, so what are we doing with this? Huh, I actually did not know that. So what the heck are we doing with soy?
At this point, yes, Bolsonaro has a role to play, but there needs to be a carrot at the end of that stick, and otherwise you're gonna keep on seeing this. And just to explain, y'all know that like the Amazon lungs of the world, like rain clouds that form in the Amazon, like, end up, falling on Southern California and Texas and all over, right? So like,
oh, the rest is to feed livestock?
So let's say you have to read an
extreme drought in the US, a lot of it is thanks to this deforestation.
Yeah, no, you make such a great point there.
No, not that kind of grass.
And if you look at some of the regulations in a state like California, which to be sure, governance in California, I have complained about quite a bit recently, and I stand by those criticisms. However, there are certain environmental protections in California that I'm fond of, including a recent story involving a family who bought a home in Joshua Tree, California, and decided that they're building, they're expanding this home, they're adding some additions, and they're like, look, these 4 Joshua trees are in the way, so we're gonna go ahead and uproot them and get rid of them. Well, it turns out that there are strict regulations against chopping down or getting rid of Joshua trees, because I didn't know this, they're actually endangered. And so they had to pay these pretty hefty fines as a result of what they did. And so
but at that point, it doesn't matter. I genuinely don't care. Like, the fines do just about, like, unironically, they do just about fuck all. Because like, and what? They're destroyed. They're destroyed. It's gone. That's not coming back.
I think that in some contexts, the stick works, right? The fines, the penalties, real consequences could work, especially domestically. But
is a fine enough? I think that for like seriously destructive behavior, especially when it comes to like endangered species or like destroying super like on the brink like ecosystems, I think like, you know what, maybe we can put some jail time on the table. I don't know. I know that like it sounds a little bit harsh, but if like a hefty fine is all I have to do to like, clear my way and be like, you know what, I don't care. I can just chalk it up to the cost of doing business and move on with my life.
You're right. I mean, internationally, we need to find ways to collaborate, but also to provide
Chop off their limbs.
incentives, especially to countries that aren't as privileged as the United States is, to ensure that they're protecting their environment or the nature that surrounds their country.
Totally.
So yeah, I think that's a really great point. One final thing I wanted to bring up in regard to the recent studies that were done into this. So researchers who routinely tested the atmosphere of 4 areas in Amazonia twice a month over a 9-year period found that not only are carbon emissions higher in the eastern areas of the rainforest than in the western areas, but that the southeastern area is putting more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere than it absorbs. Going back to what the lead of the story is, the eastern Amazon is a hotspot of deforestation to facilitate logging and agriculture, including cattle ranches. So whenever it comes to business opportunities versus the health of our planet or the lives of actual human beings, under this model, the profits, the corporate incentives are always going to outweigh what's in the best interest of mankind. And
true.
Again, like the incentives are just in the wrong place. Short-term profits seem to rule all of the decision making that takes place, not just here in the United States, but globally. And we gotta change that structure. That's really at the heart of a lot of the pain and suffering that we're seeing around the world right now.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it.
Every bite of meat is a loss in the Amazon rainforest, true. Americans criticizing Brazil just seems so hypocritical. The Midwest used to be all forest and look what we did to it. Yeah, of course. The point is like, what I was trying to say earlier was like, yes, obviously it's bad, but like the United States does have the overwhelming responsibility to act, right? I mean, like, we just have that on it's on us, and regardless of what any other country is doing, we need to be doing what we can in our home to implement policies to try to address climate change, because guess what? Whatever we do does have a significant impact on the rest of the world. And it's really, the onus is really on us, to be quite honest. Just not only on like the responsibility wise, but like we did the thing, okay? Right now, currently, we're doing the thing. That's right, be best. We started the damn oil companies that kicked off this whole climate change thing off. Yeah, I just still can't believe that, like, we're at the point where we're just trying to beg. We're just trying to beg leadership to just do something. Anything. Climate scientists meet as floods, fires, and droughts and heat waves batter countries. More than 200 of the world's leading climate scientists will begin meeting today to finalize the landmark report. This is for the IPCC. Thank you so much. Get a job 691. Interesting. Hey, Mono, how's it going? Anyways, folks, the IPCC, shout out to the land protectors currently in Fairy Creek, fighting to BC, Canada, fighting to protect the old growth rainforest. Nice. More than 200 of the world's leading climate scientists will begin meeting today to finalize the landmark report, summarizing how Earth climate has already changed and what humans can expect for the rest of the century. Get fucked. I saw a climate change commercial. I don't know who it was aimed at because it was displayed to me, but it seemed directed at the billionaires. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. More than 200. Oh yes. So the IPCC, the report is the 6th edition of an assessment of the climate science from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, a United Nations body that coordinates research about global warming. The last edition came out in 2013. An eternity in the world of climate science, where the pace of both warming and research are steadily accelerating. The urgency of addressing global warming has never been more clear. The 2-week virtual meeting of IPCC scientists coincides with a raft of deadly climate-driven disasters unfolding around the world. From flash floods in Europe, North America, and Asia, to intense wildfires in Siberia, to widespread persistent heat waves and droughts that threaten to upend food supplies in the US, Middle East, and much of Africa. All the commercials during the Olympics are confusing, but I just keep crying. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't watch the Olympics that much, to be quite frank. Cool, bro. You can swim very fast, bro. Very cool. I mean, it's impressive. Like, athleticism is impressive. I just like, I just don't watch like a lot of this, like Olympics or anything like that. I watch like what I do watch is usually the quarterfinals, finals, from quarterfinals and up to like different soccer tournaments. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, no, the idea of it is awesome. I like the concept behind it. We're showing my kid the different events, otherwise I'm not a sports fan. That's awesome. That's a good idea, Heat. But don't kick out Phelps despite him having freak mutation that haven't produced half as much lactic acid. Seems legit. Yeah. The urge, yeah, it's pretty. Did you see the scandal about like the Sweden's team, women's team? I think they got like sanctioned or reprimanded because they wanted to wear like shorts. Like, I mean, anyways. The urgency of addressing global warming has never been more clear. Yes, we went through this. The new report would be a crucial document for world leaders. I mean, yes, but whether or not they'll do something about it is entirely up to them. It represents the international scientific consensus about human-caused climate change. Governments rely on its prediction. Yes, they got fined for not wearing the bikini bottoms. Gotcha. Scientific consensus about human-caused climate change. Governments rely on its predictions as they develop policies to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, manage forests and fisheries, and decide how to protect their citizens from extreme weather. No. I don't believe we're being that serious. In November, world leaders will meet for the first time in 2019 to discuss promise to cut greenhouse gases, promises that are still insufficient to prevent catastrophic warming this century. Yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, true. Mono. Yay, we need another non-binding agreement that does just about fuck all. Super poggers. It takes years to put together the IPCC report. It has 12 chapters covering everything from heat trapping properties of individual greenhouse gases to extreme. Yeah. Hey, imagine having to like explain to world leaders like the greenhouse gas effects. Like, I mean, like what? This is elementary science. I learned this in elementary school. Over the next 2 weeks, heat trapping properties of individual greenhouse gases to extreme weather events to regional impacts of global warming. Over the next 2 weeks, the authors will of the report will hash out the final draft. Here are things to watch for. 3 things to watch for. Climate science has gone a long way in the last decade. The new report will be the most comprehensive, detailed, accurate picture of the global climate ever released. Of course, because it's like the latest technology. The computer models that scientists use predict how the climate will change in the future are a lot more advanced than they were a decade ago, when the last edition was published, and the data that feeds those models are also more robust thanks to satellite buoys and information about historical climate gathered from rock, ice, and mud. Together, those advances allow scientists to say with more certainty how quickly the Earth is heating up and how the extra heat is being trapped by greenhouse gases will affect everything from sea levels to hurricanes, droughts, and heat waves. For this report, scientists consider all climate research published before February 2021. That's thousands of studies of the Earth's atmosphere, oceans, forests, and weather patterns. The meeting that kicks off today will focus on how to phrase key takeaways, such as how quickly the Earth is barreling towards the 2 degrees Celsius, 3.6 degree Fahrenheit warming threshold set by the Paris Climate Agreement in order to avoid the most catastrophic effects of global warming. There are 5 future scenarios that scientists are imagining. A critical goal of the forthcoming report is to help governments make decisions about how to address climate change. The report won't tell governments what to do, but it's meant to help leaders understand the effects of different policies. I don't know, dude. They should probably put forth, like, prescriptive solutions. For example, if humans stop burning coal immediately, it would dramatically reduce the rate of global warming. But what if humans stop burning coal in the next 5 years or 10 years? What if solar panels get really cheap and population growth slows? Wait, that's already happening. Hold on, that's already happening. Like, solar panels are one of the cheapest, and population growths are just like objectively are slowing down, like grinding to a halt. Wait, this is already happening. How does that affect climate change? The new IPCC report is meant to help answer such questions using a set of 5 hypothetical policy scenarios. This is the first time the IPCC has used these scenarios, which are essentially a collection of imaginary worlds in which countries pursue different sets of climate policies. For example, in one world, countries work together to develop low-cost, low-carbon technologies and put them into use quickly for everyone. In others, some countries or groups of people transition very quickly to wind, solar, and other clean energy sources, while others move much more slowly. In a third imaginary Jesus Christ. In a third imaginary world, nationalism surges around the world and governments focus on local energy and food security rather than global economic changes to reduce greenhouse gases. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, extremely fucking optimistic given that Paris has been dead for years, true. These scenarios are just variants from previous models by the sound of it. Like they correspond with particular emission levels. Gotcha. Tasmania just hit their carbon neutral goal and did it in 2 years ahead of schedule. They're now 100% carbon neutral and using 100% renewable energy. Nice. The IPCC had 5 different scenarios already. I don't see this as anything especially new. Maybe tweaked by new models. Mono. We already have low-cost carbon technology. We just don't use it. True. Each of these 5 scenarios take into account population growth, GDP, and a host of other demographic, economic, and technological possibilities. Under most of these scenarios, it is still possible to keep global warming below the 2 degrees Celsius threshold. Lamau. Jesus Christ. Set by the Paris Agreement, says Zeke Housefather, a climate scientist at the University of California, Berkeley. In other words, there are many ways to address climate change, and the new report will help describe those options. I mean, like, I hope so. The Biden administration has promised to cut U.S. emissions by half in 2030, but has not released a specific plan for how to achieve said goal. Which tells me, what, nothing? I don't care. Like, I really don't care about, like, what you tell me in terms of, like, oh yeah, hey guys, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. Cool, but, like, just, what's the, plan here, buddy? The anti-vaxxers, Jesus Christ, Mono. Hey Wiz, how's it going? Generally speaking, that would be ideal, Darknet. I mean, that would be ideal. Maybe. Maybe. Did you peep the photo album? I think I saw some of it. I need to look at that later. You don't trust the free market? The free market is the only way. It's the only way. If you want... if you don't mind solving climate change in like the next 50 years. Which by then, you know. Oh my god, fake pandemic. The Great Reset. There is no pandemic. Masks don't stop a virus? Okay. QAnon, nice. Even tattoos can be removed. You can never be unjabbed. Oh my god. COVID is the biggest fraud in history. Oh, InfoWars. Classic. Classic. Resist. Well, thank you for bringing us this wonderful photo album. I appreciate your on-the-ground journalism. Masks can kill. And one of the speakers said that he'd learned that our leaders are Satanist pedophiles. Oh yeah, like you know, QAnon. This is a QAnon. The QAnon is overlap is real. Oh yeah, look, we got InfoWars, QAnon, all this other stuff. Very good, very healthy stuff. Normal stuff. Children are not lab rats. Stop COVID vaccinations. Wait. That's true, Memmius. See latest UK jab death numbers. God. The Trump flag and the Punisher Trump flag in front of Primark was probably my favorite. Jesus Christ. I like the flags, they're just like little smiley faces. The report will include regional information for the first time. This is the first time the IPCC will break down its global climate science findings by region. That's a big deal because the climate is changing in different ways depending on where you live. Wow, amazing, true. For example, the Arctic is warming about twice as fast as the rest of the Earth, and sea levels are rising much more quickly in some areas than in others. That's probably a good idea. To give people an idea of how climate change affects them specifically. But many countries do not have resources to systematically study how the climate is changing in their region or what to expect in the future. That leaves governments in the dark about the rate of local sea level rise, for example, or the likelihood of regional drought or extreme rain. Without localized information, it's impossible to prioritize infrastructure and housing that's built for the climate of the future. The forthcoming IPCC report includes a chapter on regional climate change. The IPCC is also releasing an interactive online regional dashboard that allows policymakers to choose a region and see current and future climate conditions. Oh, here's the hey guys, here's the amazing kicker about this entire thing. I've got a better idea. Nice, on the ground journalism. Keep it up, Mono. Just be safe and stay away from these people. With shutter priority. Nice. I hope you get some good shots, and of course, just keep yourself safe. You know, it's not exactly out of the realm of possibility that 90% of these people are not vaccinated. One of them asked me as I was vaxxed, I would have been like, you see here, as the magnet clearly doesn't work on me, as the magnet doesn't work on me, I'm obviously not vaccinated. Dude, unironically, I think they would mob you. I think they would mob you. If you told them that you were vaxxed, I think they would actually mob you. Like, there's a conspiracy theory going around that vaccinated people, and this is complete conspiracy theory, that vaccinated people are spreading viral shedding. Thank you. that are like spreading the virus via like spike protein shedding or whatever it is that they tried to justify. It's based on a busted paper that's now retracted. Yes, but of course, you know, like everything, unfortunately, the internet does not care. The cognitive dissonance is strong. They simultaneously believe that Fauci conspired with China to release a bioweapon to kill us all, but there's also no pandemic, no dead people. The paper masks are paper masks are useless. Correct. None of it makes any sense because it doesn't. That's plain and simple. It doesn't. Oh yeah, here's the kicker of everything, folks. The US government will not rely on the new regional data from the IPCC. Hey guys, we're A-okay. Cause, you know, of course. The US already has access to localized data through National Climate Assessment, which is produced by the federal government every few years. The next edition is set to be published in 2023. That's true. More conspiracies out there than reality TV and crime TV combined. I saw some people saying they should wear masks to protect themselves against the vaccinated. No, wait. We're on like I'm sorry, but like we're on like other like alternate realities simultaneously. Like, guys, the Matrix is glitching. That's what's happening here. The Matrix is glitching. I'm serious. That kind of cognitive dissonance is hard to break. They're in deep. Yes, that's not even like. That's true. It's practically impossible. Yep. I mean, if you're at the level where you seriously believe that there is even such a thing as like, viral shedding, and it's like the masks are like vaccinated people are the ones who are like spreading like protein. I don't know, whatever nonsense, viral shedding nonsense. I don't know. It's. These people are in too deep, and like to those who are not, like it's incredibly infuriating watching some of the people egg these people on. I jabbed a bunch of them by mistake with my errant spike proteins. I don't know what to say. Like, quit acting like children. You're literally acting like children LARPing. I'm starting to think climate change deniers are just really big fans of Waterworld and just wanted a jet ski piracy? Nah. That's not gonna work out for them the way they think it is. We're at a complex time where it is easier to cause massive damage through miseducation than to learn what's correct and info and then try to be right all the time. It's just easy to join a group of junkies yelling not to fuck with you. True. True. Unironically true. Hold on, folks. But have you seen land? I've got a jar of dirt. If you believe 300-year-old man loaded with the blood of every animal on the planet, you can basically believe anything. True. True. That is 100% true. Space Jam 3 will just be Jack Sparrow and Waterworld. Change my mind. Maybe. Anyways, nice meme. Alright, I think we need like a quick break for the lols. A quick break for the lols.
I don't care, man. Okay, just dude, you are the worst human being known to mankind. I want you to know that what you have done to this state, to the United States, to everything else in this world. I don't care that your daughter's here. What you've done to people's families, what you have done to everybody else in this world. Son. Don't call me son.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Wait, what happened to my music? Yeah, he did. I think this is probably more prescient. One of the more prescient articles. Water thieves, folks. In California are stealing scarce water in extreme drought, devastating some communities. This is Lake Oroville. Yeah. This is where we're at. As an extreme drought grips California, making water increasingly scarce, thieves are making off with billions of gallons of the precious resource, tapping into fire hydrants and rivers, even small family homes and farms. Yeah. This is where we're at, where they're literally dealing with stealing water. Can you imagine what happens? Can you imagine what happens when this is like the norm for hundreds of millions of people? Water thieves don't matter, they'll just sell NFTs. I'll just sell NFTs to buy a Tesla and Bitcoin, then I can go to Mars with Daddy Musk where there's famously lots of water. Yeah, something like that. But it really shows how effed we are, so I consider that an optical victory. Yeah, this really shows how screwed we are that we're even in this position, right? Where there's even such a thing, like, take that into like the mindset of that. Water thieves? The state and local officials say water theft is a long-running issue, but the intensifying drought has driven the thefts to record levels as reservoirs dry up, and bandits make off with stolen water, often to cultivate growth of illegal marijuana crops. Water stealing has never been more severe, because this scarcity is severe because of climate change, yada yada yada. Former head of California Department of Fish and Wildlife Marijuana... What? They have a Fish and Wildlife Marijuana Enforcement team? What? Okay, that sounds made up. That sounds weird. That sounds weird. Freedom is where you don't have water. The more water you don't have, the more freedom, the more free you are. True. The agency has been fighting thefts for years, but especially in rural areas of the parched state has been devastating for communities. More than 12 billion gallons of water are estimated to have been stolen across the state since 2013, impacting legitimate farming operations and drinking water sources. Yeah, let's not talk about the idea that it is because the quote legitimate farming operations are partially to blame. Legitimate departments and regulations of environmental stuff make no sense. True. The weed thing is mostly a cope. Yeah, for the real problem. They literally fly on hells looking for grow ops. Oh, yeah. Yep, using the thermal thingies. Yep, true. Grow ops. Hello, I just got my PC set up. Hey, happy birthday once again. No, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Folks, if you don't know, and you don't follow Turing News, it is just, it is a wonderful universal coinkydink that both of us are experiencing our 31st and 32nd trip around the sun. You know for sure slinging out on the news to say Daddy-o evil Drogo. Yeah, yes. Of course. But yeah, the problem is like we have the underlying issue. So I got my PC set up. Excellent. We're almost there. How thieves are getting their hands on water. Over 30. Didn't know you were an old. Hey. More than 12 billion water estimated to have been stolen across the state, impacting the legal farming operations, drinking water sources, Native American tribe, and for Native American tribes and small communities. Officials say thieves are getting their hands on water by breaking into secure water stations, drilling into water lines, tapping into fire hydrants, and using violence and threats against farmers, making off with truckloads of water for their crops under the cover of darkness. Yeah, the water wars. The water wars. That's basically it. Who are these dinosaurs and why are they still on Twitch? Listen, bud. I only follow 4 people and Turing is one of them. Hey! Says the 26-year-old. Yeah, y'all are real millennials. I'm one of those almost Zoomer millennials. But millennials nonetheless. If you want Zoomers, TikTok is the way. True. Oh, good lord. There are 5,000,000 to 250,000 cattle in California, but let's blame the weed growers instead. Yeah, like, well, not only like that's the legitimate operations are the problem, right? I mean, like, the legitimate operations are the problem. These farming practices, these animal commercialized practices are the source of some of these issues, right? Not to mention, of course, the added elements of like climate change, but yeah. Jesus Christ. I thought TikTok was just a Lucid Fox segment. Just DM me later if you want to chat. Yes, absolutely. In fact, do you want to hop on Discord? Yeah, just hop on Discord. Somebody. All right. All that glitters is gold. Wait, where did I go? Here we are. I think we got everything here. Howdy, howdy.
I have a lighting issue.
Oh, it's all good.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, wonderful. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, you were talking about water stuff too, and I mean, I'm out in the field. I see what's going on out here.
Jeez. The official water wars have begun.
Yeah, I slightly disagree with that categorization because I think that they've been here for a long time. We just didn't exactly maybe realize it, but I'm being nitpicky and I'm on your show as a guest, so I don't intend to
No,
be
please,
that person.
Please do.
If that makes any sense, though, I think that now, kind of like the main, like everyone is knowing that it's here, and it is. I mean, it's here.
Yeah,
because you're completely correct.
Yeah, like okay, so like a better rephrasement would be like everyone's kind of realizing, and the more this goes on, the more people begin to realize like, holy yikes, we're actually more effed than we thought. And it's not a matter of this like ephemeral down the line, oh it's gonna be here like I guess in the next 100 years, I don't know, maybe it's like in a couple generations, I don't know, maybe in like down the line it'll be a problem, but like now they're seeing like water scarcity is a big problem. The rivers are dry. I mean, California is currently still on fire. There are massive heat waves that continue to ravage the Pacific Northwest. There are flooding, massive floods. We just had that recent one in China and the recent one in Europe. I mean, I don't think this is something like we can ignore at this point in time.
Right, and yeah, what I was gonna like, or where I was coming from a little bit with how, oh man, I need to get my microphone all set up here. I turned myself up a little. What I was coming from with the wars already being here was, I think it happened internationally a lot before we realized it in the United States. Whether it was Syria, whether it's been Ethiopia, whether it's been even in the Midwest, you know, changing water tables or so forth. I think hi everybody, we're about to go to a dark place, but there, I mean, so I've seen so many incredible agricultural practices that I now even have to preface like my potential doom statements with there is a really amazing amount of like good things happening and good things taking place. But what I didn't calculate for in my climate models and in my like events is like you build probabilities in your mind, I'm sure. ADT Carlos, correct?
Yeah, I build like, well, whether like I like to call it that or not, like I kind of what we would consider game theorying it out, kind of in our heads, just subconsciously,
Okay.
like, you know, okay, the probability of this is happening based on X, Y, and Z.
Fair. So what I forgot to factor into any of my stuff was West Coast climate refugees in the United States, and I also didn't entirely. So I'm staying with Phenomenauticus right now in Colorado Springs, and I'm learning more about like systems weather and how like a pocket of air in this kind of place can do some kind of effect with that. So a quick example of this would be we're staying on the eastern side of Pikes Peak. We're about like 10, 15 miles away from it. You can see it off in the distance, maybe further. But typically on the other side of Pikes Peak, there's like a lot of clouds that come into the peak. And then when they hit the peak, they kind of like on the other side, they drop water as they're going up to it, and then eventually the cloud comes down and you get some water on this back end. But usually the weather always comes, you know, west to east here. And what has kind of happened a little bit with the or the heat vortexes and the heat domes is there's so much of a high pressure, hot temperature in the northwest that it's actually been sucking air pressure back the opposite way across Pikes Peak. And that's something that like doesn't happen all that often. So long story short of what I'm saying about like me not calculating certain black swan events within these game theory probabilities is I forgot about how dynamic systems are and how they impact they can impact weather a couple hundred miles away, you know, 1,000 miles away. Just think about the smoke, you know, going across the country to New York City or so forth. And then finally, I completely forgot about all these people that were going to be migrating out of the West Coast. Additionally, because like they're the ones that have a lot of money because they were coming from like, you know, West Coast real estate and cost of living places. I'm done.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the thing about like trying to accurately predict anything, because like the Earth's systems and how climate and even like weather patterns are finicky. I mean, like one thing can cascade and have a domino effect into like a myriad of different things that we didn't consider before. And was like, holy yikes, actually, yeah, this is a lot worse than we thought, you know? So,
yeah, I missed out on a few things, but that's okay. I've learned a few others, you know, and there have been awesome things going on here. So how's your how's your birthday going? Hello, is it today?
Yeah, it's today. We literally have the same birthday. I remember actually last year, I was heading in your stream. So like, yeah, today.
Heck yeah. My dad just came in to wish us both happy birthday. So yeah, we are talking to A Difficult Truth, and we're just kind of like hanging out. And yeah, I've been, especially now that you're talking about water and so forth, like I've been out on the road talking to people about water and temperature and so forth. And it's been such an eye-opening trip.
Awesome. How's the urban farming been going?
So I left the urban farm on the beginning of June or something. And then I actually have been driving around the country, going to different like cities and different farms for the past like 45 days, kind of just like interviewing people and like staying on a few farms and so forth and seeing what I can learn.
Cool. I did see that you were traveling with Freems, I saw.
Yeah, so like one cool thing that I'm thinking about and working on. And if I'm hijacking all of your program, let me know.
No, please do.
I went live on my channel too, so we're
Yay.
double stream time.
Sweet.
So one thing that's cool is like I've been thinking a lot about like carbon sinks and like carbon credits and carbon capture and what type of plants like do it better than others and so forth. And I drove across Kansas, and Kansas is just basically soybeans or corn, everywhere that you can see. And I'm wondering if we're soon drawing near to a position of it's better to allow natural grasses and natural weeds to grow on some of the fields, if not a majority of the fields, for the specific purpose of growing biomass to then allow to compost and to regenerate the soils. So like it feels to me that we have a problem, an issue with not enough peat moss. Like I'm trying to get to Canada to find peat moss farms because we take them from bogs and so forth. And it also seems that there's not exactly enough compost. Well, there is, but I mean, we need a lot of it. You can never have enough compost is basically kind of what I'm realizing. And I think that we need to really begin to think big, large scale. How are we going to be getting enough compost for regenerative ag systems or like to regenerate soil and so forth? And I mean, you can do natural grasses to do it, or I mean, you can just do hemp. Like I've seen now some hemp plants, and I actually toured an organic cannabis farm, like a legal outdoor raised beds, organic,
Nice.
no-till. They're using like a turkey baster dip system to measure the millibars of water to know when the automatic watering systems have to turn on. So I've been like I'm starting to get around like some tech, and I'm getting around people that like know what they're talking about with like carbon sequestration and stuff. And there is some kind of something here with either natural grasses and or I mean hemp would be even better because it's really like just a minimally you don't really have to do all that much with it. So that's a little of where I am. I'll stop again.
Yeah, I mean, like the as Mono said, the options are there, and like things are possible. I just don't know how to get it rhetorically to make people understand the severity. And like basically what I want right now is to build the political will, or like I guess political just something to get enough people to realize and put pressure from the bottom up, because like all of this means honestly nothing if we can't get people on board and like can't put pressure.
Yeah, we spoke about that a little bit. I don't have that answer exactly at the moment. Yeah, Phenomenauticus, the person that just hosted me, he's been petitioning the city council to decriminalize psychedelics in Colorado Springs. So there are like little, and three of the council members are like actually actively listening. So there are like kind of small movements going on.
Yeah.
The only one of the strange ways that like quote regenerative farming or no-till farming is going to come to, I don't know. It's tough. Oh man, it's tough.
Could we say then that if I mean at this point, like if we have to, could it be a feasible strategy of like connecting all of these little cells together, like all of these like people who are trying to do regenerative farming or like trying to spread awareness and movements, like they're very small and usually they're very local. I imagine that there must be a way to get these like small cells connected. I don't see that much of a way out. Darknet said to just go vegan. That's something that we should definitely like encourage people.
No, I think that there are already. I think they're growing. Because like kind of what I'm finding out is like there's Permies. You can like find permaculturalists that all share their information. So I think the farming network is one of the more open businesses that I've come across. Like I can't really completely imagine a lot of other businesses that are going to take me into the inner workings of how they function with like about a 99% success rate. Like basically any farmer that I've spoken to would at this point give me like some type of tour. And I've been having some thoughts too that I'm gonna have to download a lot in here. Can I keep talking? Is that okay?
Yeah.
You're sure?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you. So I've been having a lot of thoughts that where there is some left labor power is within the no-till, the urban farm, the hydroponics, the regenerative ag, the community garden, the mutual aid garden network. Like, this is where it feels to me that the left is a little bit more ahead of the curve on understanding, call them reclaimed indigenous agricultural techniques, call them modern agriculture techniques, call them no-till farming, call them, whatever you want to call them. But it seems to be that there's like a little bit more labor concentration of left energy within that realm. And that kind of is lending to, I think there are more YouTube channels like talking about how to do this type of stuff. There are more intentional communities that a person can visit. There are farmers markets that people can go talk to. So it feels to be that there is a very slow, still rolling a rock up a hill, grouping of people bringing information together. Now, how can you get like the huge linkage? That's a difficult part to do. I'll pause there again.
Yeah, I imagine like things like social media and the internet would be crucial. But the reality is, like, man, what frustrates me is, like, although the change is happening little by little and people are sort of kind of sometimes understanding, especially now that it's in their face. I mean, like, there are people who have like lost everything in these floods or fires or hurricanes and whatnot. The problem being is, like, this is the point in time where it's at a crucial tipping point, right? Because like the time for action would be like, it's kind of a almost, I would say, not really, but like almost a now or never kind of deal within these last 10 years.
So to give a bit of bloomer, as I categorize myself a post-doomer bloom wave. You're very correct about the time horizon. I kind of was having a pretty serious talk with Gabe, and I say that we have like a 6 to 18 month window of like, really like kind of figuring some things out. But here's maybe like a little, seed of things that we could work on, or that I think would be, beneficial endeavor. There's a company out there called App Harvest, APP Harvest. It's short for Appalachian Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
To skip through the technicals very fast. It's a 60-acre indoor hydroponics farm with rainwater capture on the top of it. It's got a 10-acre retaining water pond. They're doing around 45 million pounds of produce per year. They are expanding to 12 more locations. They build them in mostly food desert areas. They do provide some jobs. It is a ton of food. It's good food. It's a good way to. It's scientifically sound food production. However, it's publicly traded. It's VC backed. It's already shareholder capitalism. So it's already down this road. If there is a place that the left can make, I think, huge gains in developing things that can be beneficial for like the planetary system as a whole, for every nation and every person, it needs to be in coming up with an open source, democratically run co-op, large scale vertical farm with funding backed, somehow get it up off the ground and allow every single design aspect of it basically to be seen or be reviewed or be modeled and be filmed and be toured and so forth. And if you can do this with like, to me, it feels like 2 or 3 critical pieces of infrastructure. If a few renewable regenerative energy sources could be designed, developed, and manufactured via a cooperative organization in an open source way. I'm specifically thinking like, I have another company that I have in mind, Heliogen. They kind of seem to be one of the decent ones out of what I've seen, and they're about to go into a SPAC acquisition for about $2 billion. But kind of what I'm trying to say is like, it feels to me that we've got to like get a few little pieces of critical infrastructure technology, work with them in our own like building capacity, and allow everybody to go off of it. I'll pause again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, shoot. The amount of, unfortunately, like funding that would take, Christ, I don't know, but we definitely need to move in that direction.
But we can find the money somewhere. It's got to exist.
Yeah,
it's got to be out there. But you're all right. Thank you everybody for the birthday wishes. So it's both of our birthdays. It's a Difficult Truths and it's mine. So yeah, if anybody likes this kind of stuff, follow both of the channels. I'm Brad and that's Carlos. So hi there.
Howdy.
Yeah. But so yeah, that's what I've been up to. I've just been going to farms and seeing what's going on.
Cool. Yeah. I lurk from time to time. Really neat stuff.
It's been a good one. What are you doing the rest of the day? You getting some Halo going?
I might play a little bit, and then I gotta get out there and work on a little bit of the garden. I mean, like, you know, I live in an apartment building, so there's like limited stuff that we can do, but the stuff that I do is like what I can. I grow like peppers, and I was growing shallots, and I'm trying to grow cucumbers, which are actually doing really well. I've got a mulberry tree, a blueberry bush going, so we've got a few things going.
You're more of a gardener than I am. I mean, I don't have a garden. Sometimes it's weird when I'm out on the road because they're like, "Oh, what do you grow?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm on the road for a long time, so nothing." But that's awesome. What have you been making out of your garden lately?
Well, it depends. Like, we use a lot of peppers, and the shallots that we had to make like peppers, eggs, eggs and peppers and onions, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The blueberries are just like snacks, so are the mulberries, and any excess. Oh, we have like a massive rosemary bush, which the neighbors take the rosemary bush. The neighbors have taken like excess shallots, excess peppers. We've got jalapenos as well that are doing like really, really good. And now I hope we can make like a nice little crop of cucumber. We've got like 9 or 10 plants growing, so I hope that can provide a bunch of cucumbers, and I hope that can also help. That could be extra for people too.
Do you have any pictures of your garden?
Yeah, in my Discord, I have like a little channel called.
Can you bring them up on your screen? Can we talk about them?
Yeah, let's see if I have it here.
Because I would have questions about like, how are you growing them? Are you having to put down like any cover crop? You know, how are you doing your seeding? How do you choose? Like, I can ask you all kinds of garden questions.
Let's see here if I can bring some of this up. How do I open original? Oh, these are like the tiny ones. This is when they were just sprouting. Oops. These are cucumbers. Basically what I did, show my rando sunflowers. Yes. We got all I did was literally I grabbed a bunch of wood and I made a raised bed that looks like this. Filled it with just soil, just oh god, what is it called? Raised bed soil, and they just took off.
Nice. So were you direct seeded right into your bed? You didn't do any kind of like pre-seeding or pre-propagation?
Nope. I just put the seed there, just planted it, and it went. It worked. The same thing with the shallots.
Is that the only one that you're growing in, and you're getting that much out of it?
Yeah.
Whoa! You've got 4. Whoa!
No, this is Chai's. This is Chai Bureaucrat's little setup going, because like I live in a apartment complex, so like the only one that I have is that one bed. So that's all the space that I have. Like, you know, without too much causing too much trouble.
Right.
My goal is to eventually get like the mulberry tree going, which then I could take that mulberry and like, you know, just casually leave it somewhere.
Mulberries never get off your fingertips. Oh my gosh, everybody knows that you're eating them.
Hey Tina, happy birthday. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Tina. By the way, I have touring news with me. So it is both of our birthdays, Tina. So I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, that's well, Shy Bureaucrat and both you, very nice gardens. Those are good raised beds. And I see that they've got the mulch in between.
Yeah, they've got.
Yeah, I wonder. So was that soil on the ground too, and that's just like to prevent weeds from, I guess, like getting around and so forth? I would have to assume.
Yeah, because you can see mine. Mine doesn't have that because I can't put like that stuff around, but that makes sense.
Thank you for the birthday wishes, Miss Rogers and Tina. It was heavily weeded. Okay, that makes sense. You're getting a lot of yield out of that. What is that, 8x8?
Yeah, just about actually. Yeah, I didn't measure it. I literally just like grabbed pieces of wood, cut them in half, and then said, "All right, we're doing this."
Yeah, that's really impressive. And you're doing cucumbers and peppers and all kinds of stuff. What have
Yep.
been? Is this your first year with it or second year?
This would be coming into actually my second year, I think. Yeah, just about.
You got it started last year.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. How much? What would your next expansion be?
Hopefully if I get a chance. Oh yeah, look, this is some of the shallots that came out of this of that yield, some of it. I'm hoping
Whoa.
I'm hoping I can like double up and like realize how much I can make out of that space. And say like, these are all just test runs, like 9 plants in that little area. I think I can do more. So I'm just gonna keep like experimenting.
Yeah, don't overcrowd. Don't do you know what zone you're in for planting? Like
I believe we are zone 9 and between like 9 and 10.
Wow, that's high up there.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of doing any kind of like covering to extend like growing seasons at all, or
No. Like covering, like put something over it, like an awning or something.
well, like if you put like translucent plastic over the top,
Mhm.
like you could probably extend your growing season by maybe like 2 months or so. Yeah, like any
Oh.
kind of like high tunnel type thing or so forth.
Gotcha.
Like so. Let's see, raised bed high tunnel. I'll send one over to you. Yeah, okay, this would be like a simple enough one. Putting it into your chat.
Oh shoot! Hold on. Wait, you're not VIP? Why is that why is that not a thing? Okay,
Oh, that's
hold on.
okay.
Okay, that now it should work.
Oh, let me link it.
No, it doesn't show like in my chat.
Oh, okay.
Somebody VIP this gentleman, Drew, on the double. We got it.
There it is.
There we
Maybe
go.
got it. Did it work? Okay.
Thank you, Alio. Appreciate that. We got it here. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Chai Bureaucrat was just saying that. Okay. Yeah, we could do this. It's like I think this is very simple.
Yeah, and I'd like to put a point out there very, very early to people. You do have to use petrochemicals to make something like this. Okay, I'm going to concede that point to you.
Yeah.
I am okay with using, but I'm about to like really make my big point. It's okay to use petrochemicals at times in limited quantities if you're doing good things with them. Like I'm not at that moment in my life where I'm completely trying to phase every single aspect out of it. Like the amount of extra growing that you're going to be able to get, the food that you're going to be able to get, the benefit that you're going to be able to get from spending that little amount of petro fuel. I think that if you actually ran all the calculations, all of the energy consumption, all the water and everything through it, you would find that you're still coming out in the good. So like people building high tunnels to like farm tomatoes, to farm peppers, to extend their growing seasons and so forth. These are good uses of carbon footprints and good uses of carbon energy.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the reality is, like, we should strive to get, obviously rid of any type of, like, fossil fuel in as many ways as possible. If there aren't alternatives, then this is, these are the this is the cards that are dealt. But I do think that, like, in the short term, I saw like a research paper that was saying that like if we're going to get ourselves out of this climate change thing for the next like X amount of years, we're gonna need to put everything into it, everything that we have at climate change, and that includes like it's going to be like a temporary uptick in outputs of fossil fuels, but the idea is to come out of it with all of this green infrastructure and renewable energy out of it so that we don't use it again, right? So like that would be the end goal.
And yeah, something that go ahead, sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, it's all good. And unfortunately, like we don't have like that many choices in front of us. I'm sure there can be, but
well, I think I found one.
And,
another choice that's in front of us. So if you can go into my, oh man, this would be difficult to do. Can I find in my VODs? So in yesterday, I'm gonna work with a person building. I'm gonna help them finish their underground greenhouse. And yeah, so you can dig down under the ground and build like greenhouses and get like climate controlled rooms and so forth. So let me see if I can find like in my VODs here. Oh gosh, there's so many buttons to click to get the VODs, aren't there?
Yeah. Geothermal greenhouse is my next big project plan. Nice, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so at the 19-minute mark here of what I'm about to link over, if you maybe just want to like play it in the background, you could like get like a visual, and then we can talk. Is this too rude of me again on your show?
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. About 19. No ads. Okay.
Oh damn.
So explain to me like why Twitch needed to feel the need to put ads in VODs.
They need money. Yeah,
I mean,
need
yes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, about 19. There we go. I think that's about it. Just making sure.
Thank you for the birthday wishes to us both.
What are we gonna do?
And I'll catch those. Okay, so yeah, there you can see. Yeah, so that's it partially dug down there. So if you the ideal way to build them is you want the wall that faces south to get the most amount of sunlight, because you build your back wall out of a heat holding mineral, you know, be it compacted soil, be it clay, be it something. So you want to build it that way it gets the sunlight all day and it holds it throughout the nighttime. And then there's all different types of what he's going to be doing is he's building different layers for different tropical zones, and he's going to be working on growing limes, and his end goal is to grow a banana, and it's going to become about 2 times. So right there, it's about like call it 15 by 15 feet. We're going to try to add another 15 by 15 right there and another 15 by 15 on the other side. So I'm actually coming back here to Colorado Springs in about a week and a half or 2 weeks to stream how we build this and build it out on our channels. So if anybody is going to be interested in how you can hand dig an underground greenhouse and then lay over, it's going to be like wood beams and just like old windows and so forth. But there's a lot of interesting things that take place too with snowpack on top. I didn't realize that it actually builds like a layer of insulation. So it's kind of okay for a little while if there's snow on top of the greenhouse in the winter, because Colorado Springs has a really wonky climate.
Huh. That's interesting. Like I know for sure that if I ever leave like Florida, if I ever make it out of there, this could be a very, very good idea. Considering the fact that like Florida here, like you can't dig like that.
Right.
I mean you can, but you'll find nothing but sand, and at that point it's like, oof, you really it's sand or water at that point.
Right. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing over the past like 2 days, is being at this place.
Cool.
So yeah, there are some solutions out there, or some ideas out there. I should say.
Yeah. I mean, anything that we can do is like anything that we can do, we should strive to do. But I think that like the reality is like there's no political will. It's I would say, like, I know it's doomerish, but like it's all for naught. I would say like one of the most important things that are happening right now is that infrastructure bill. That infrastructure bill is, like, in my opinion, like incredibly crucial, because like if that fails, if they fail to put in the climate change provisions in terms of like trying to at least put on the table like any type of ways of getting energy, if that fails, then I believe any momentum that we have for climate change legislation where it needs to be is kind of gone. If they can't
I
get
guess I
it,
need to read the infrastructure bill. Then I've kind of just let that up to the people that be to influence it, because I've just been trying to learn what I can. But yeah, I mean, you are right. But you know, I'm on my bloom wave moment of like trying to find out what I can do at least.
oh yeah, absolutely. There's everybody in any way that they can. It's kind of like, I would almost argue like a moral like imperative to like try to first of all do the most amount of good for the most amount of people. That being said, climate change, doing what you can in the ways that you can, I think is the way to go. If you have those choices in front of you.
Yeah, go to your local farmers markets and talk to farmers and see what's working for them, and ask if you can go see their fields and then incorporate them into your gardens. You know, that's like another. There's a lot of information available out there at the moment. So
Right.
But I am gonna get going and get started on my day here.
Cool. Are you still going to be streaming?
I am, yes.
Okay, so we'll head on over to your stream after we're done. Cool.
Oh well, I thought that you're gonna be up live for a while. I think so.
A little bit, yeah.
But happy birthday once
Thank
again,
you.
and yeah, I'm happy to be in my 30s. I imagine you probably are too.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm happy to be here.
So I will. I'll catch up with you soon.
For sure. Happy birthday. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate
All
that.
right, see you.
See ya. Touring news, everybody. No, it's not easy to change. It's not easy to change the way you live. But the reality is, the alternative, you know, kind of forces us to make like these type of decisions, and we try to do whatever we can within the time that we have, within the tools that we have to make change, right? I mean, like that's all like as an individual we can do, and just try to link up with each other and try to build political pressure to try to get some of this stuff even going, because it is a dire situation, and our leaders are on the cusp of condemning the next generation for what, profit, for an extra couple bucks. That's not acceptable. Happy birthday. Thank you so much, Alio. I appreciate that. The View on ABC is talking about these subjects and Biden, president who works with Biden. Well, we're not gonna have much choice. And just like, you know, the coronavirus, like humanity's like realizing just a tad bit too late. Link up and build resilience. We need to help those who will be impacted first and worst. I agree, Hannah. That's all we can do as individuals, is to try to do that and try to see what we can do to build political pressure to move some of these folks. But without political will, nothing happens. Without political will, nothing happens. And I think one of the first things that we need to do is get more people aware, right? Like get people to realize just how dire the situation is, and get people educated as quickly as possible, and get people like to understand, right? I mean, there's no alternative. Effectively the clock is running out, and we need to be doing whatever it is that we can in the time we have with the tools that we have, right? All right, folks, I think this is important. It's definitely something to pay attention to. Mississippi to file arguments in a landmark abortion case. The Mississippi Attorney General's office is expected to file briefs with the U.S. Supreme Court to outline the state's argument and could affect abortion rights nationwide. So here we go, yet again. Here we go again. Same old story. You know, the planet's on fire, people don't have access to water, food isn't being able to be grown, and we're trying to, what? Curtail abortion rights? The Mississippi Attorney General's office is expected to file briefs with the U.S. Supreme Court. Like, yeah, there's massive, like, also economic problems that are affecting, like, people. We don't have health care. I mean, but yeah, let's get to the real issues, folks. To file expected briefs with the Supreme Court to outline the state's arguments in a case that could upend nearly 50 years of court rulings on abortion rights nationwide. A 6-3 conservative majority with 3 justices appointed to former President Trump in May said that the court would consider arguments over Mississippi law that would ban abortions at 15 weeks. Justices are likely to hear this case in the fall and could rule on it in the spring. The case challenges rulings that have prohibited states from restricting abortion before a fetus can survive outside the womb. Abortion rights supporters have said that if the justices uphold the Mississippi law, that could clear the way for states to enact more restrictions than procedure, including bans on abortions once a fetal heartbeat is detected as early as 6 weeks. And we all know what the problems are with that, with the science on that, right? There's, like, realistically speaking, there's no such thing as a fetal heartbeat, okay? It's a misnomer. And second of all, most women don't even know that they're pregnant at 6 weeks. Third of all, who are you to decide on what people can and cannot do with their body? Okay. Mississippi 15-week law enacted in 2018, but blocked after a federal court challenged the state's only abortion clinic, Jackson. Yeah, like, they only have, the entire state of Mississippi has only one abortion clinic, right? And like, they're still trying to do whatever it is that they can. Remains open and offers abortion up to 16 weeks of pregnancy. Clinic director Shannon Brewer has said about 10% of its abortions are done after the 15th week. Hey, the Kevin FM. More than 90% of abortions in the U.S. take place in the first 13 weeks of pregnancy, according to CDC, of course. Mississippi Clinic has presented the evidence that viability is impossible at 15 weeks, and an appeal court said that the state conceded that it identified no medical evidence that a fetus would be viable at 15 weeks. Viability occurs roughly at 24 weeks, at which point the babies are more likely to survive. But the state argued viability is an arbitrary standard. Oh yeah, hey guys, like the objective, like how biology works, completely out the window. Just, it's gone. It doesn't exist. It's arbitrary. So therefore, their argument is, I could actually ban abortions at 6 weeks should I choose, in which case they would then proceed to do so. The Mississippi law would allow exceptions to the 15-week ban in cases of medical emergency or severe fetal abnormality. You know what I don't see? Exceptions in case of, like, rape or incest. Doctors found in violation of the ban would face a mandatory suspension or revocation for their medical licenses. Republican lawmakers in several states have been pushing laws designed to challenge Roe v. Wade, the 1973 Supreme Court that legalized abortion nationwide. A federal district judge on Tuesday blocked an Arkansas law that would have banned most abortions, ruling that the law is categorically unconstitutional because it would ban the procedure before the fetus is considered viable. Yeah, so this is just the latest attack on, effectively the latest attack on women's rights to choose, what they want to do with their body. And they're going to continue to do so until one of them sticks, especially after the Supreme Court has this cemented 6-3 conservative majority, which we talked about in numerous times last year, and what that means. And I said, there's a video there, I said that this would be used to try to curtail women's rights, and here we are. And they know that this Supreme Court is sympathetic to them, and if there was any time to try for them, it would be now. So yeah. Unfortunately, and I know electoralism isn't everything, but elections have consequences, right? Elections have consequences. I know it's silly, but it's true. if you have the ability to use electoralism as a tool, then we shouldn't cede that, right? We shouldn't cede that. If there's a possibility of participating, we should. If there's a possibility of participating in like ballot initiatives, that's good. To vote on ballot initiatives and stuff like that, because like, I mean, these things do have consequences. Like, if this goes through, then like the ramifications of this is horrifying. If this ruling goes through, the ramifications of this are going to affect real people. This is going to have real world consequences. By the way, thank you all for the wonderful birthday wishes to us, me and Turing. Thank you guys, and I appreciate Turing for coming on. Also, folks, I do want to give everybody it's not good news, but I've been in contact with the co-host. If you guys were here for Saturday, she wasn't there, and it seems like she is incredibly sick, possible bronchitis, pneumonia. So, well wishes to the co-host, and I hope that speedy recovery. I hope for a speedy recovery.
So earlier this year, we actually received some positive news from the Biden administration as it relates to foreign policy, and it has to do with one of the most egregious human rights violations that our government is propagating abroad: drone strikes. So the New York Times reported Biden secretly limits counterterrorism drone strikes away from war zones, requiring higher level approval as a stopgap measure as officials review whether to tighten Trump-era targeting rules and civilian safeguards. Now, this is a bit vague, and we're not going to get into that article, but essentially at that time, if you read that article, I think the reasonable response was to kind of wait and see what happens, right? The implication is that he'd be scaling back drone strikes, but by how much, that was not necessarily to be determined. But if he does less drone strikes than Donald Trump, who ramped up drone strikes almost exponentially after he took office, then that in and of itself would be a victory. But now we're getting a little bit more information about how much Biden has scaled back his administration's use of drones, and the preliminary information that we have suggests that he scaled it back significantly. And to me, as someone who, my political development centered on drones in 2015 when I had to write a graduate paper on the destruction caused by drones, this is a really, really positive development. So as Michael Hirsch of Foreign Policy explains, in August of 2020, the man who is now U.S. President Joe Biden's Deputy National Security Advisor, Jonathan Feiner, co-wrote a privately circulated memo titled Ending the Forever Wars, written with two others who have since joined the Biden administration, Christine Abizaid and Brett Rosenberg. The memo laid out a detailed program for extricating the United States from the 2 decades-long campaign dubbed the War on Terror that began on 9/11. 6 months into Biden's presidency, the administration has said little about its longer-term plans in dealing with Islamist terrorist groups around the world, apart from announcing the withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan. And yet airstrikes by drones and other U.S. kinetic operations in trouble spots around the world outside conventional battlefields have dramatically dropped since Biden took office. The president imposed a partial moratorium as his team conducts an intensive review of every aspect of America's global counterterrorism efforts, which have spread over 2 decades from Afghanistan post 9/11 to Iraq, Yemen, Syria, Libya, Somalia, and parts of the Maghreb, Southeast Asia, and West and Central Africa. As the Feiner memo notes, one of the recommendations enacted from the memo is to raise the threshold for use of force. This includes eliminating...
What a coincidence. I was apolitical. When I was apolitical, the first blog I wrote was about drone strikes under Obama. Interesting. That's kind of when I became a little bit more political. was during the Obama administration.
Strikes against individuals whose specific identities are not known, these are signature strikes, and who are not identified as tied to immediate U.S. force protection concerns or otherwise posing as imminent threat to the United States, as the memo puts it. No truly reliable figures exist, especially for drones, since for most of its existence, the drone program has been shrouded in secrecy. In his final year in office, President Barack Obama briefly opened the window, revealing that during his term, drone strikes, conventional airstrikes, or cruise missiles used outside conventional war zones like Afghanistan had killed as many as 116 civilians. But other independent monitors put the figures much higher. Obama's successor, Donald Trump, made the numbers classified again. The cutback in drone strikes is one element of a much bigger rethink. One Biden administration official who has been involved in discussions said that while a policy isn't yet set, and it's not clear when it will be, the upcoming 20th anniversary of 9/11 is an important target date in what is amounting to an exhaustive evaluation of the overseas terrorist threat. So keeping in mind that we don't have exact numbers and figures at this point, this is really, really good news. The article is reporting that drone strikes are at an all-time low since the drone wars have been initiated, and I would like for them to stop entirely. But to bring them at an all-time low, which obviously suggests lower than when Obama left office, that is a really good sign, and Biden absolutely gets credit for this. Countless lives are being saved because he's scaling back drones, at least for now. Now, we still kind of have to wait to see about the outcome of their assessment. Right now, it's a temporary partial moratorium, but still, this is a really, really good sign. And that's not to say that I agree with Biden on his foreign policy.
There's a whistleblower facing trial right now. Jesus.
Overall, I have huge disagreements with Joe Biden. I mean, this individual started the war on terror. He voted for the Iraq war. And on top of that, as president, he's bombed Syria twice. He's basically doing a proxy war with Iran in Iraq and Syria. And, you know, on top of that, he, as I record this video right now, his press secretary isn't ruling out sending troops to Haiti as a result of the assassination of their president. So there's a lot to critique with Biden when it comes to foreign policy. But here, when it comes to drones, one of the most egregious human rights violations propagated by the U.S. government, this is great news. Objectively speaking, this is really good news that Biden deserves a lot of credit for. This is excellent news. Now, to me, I essentially lost faith in Obama. Like, the wake-up call that I got was when I learned how extensive his use of drones and signature
I think that was for a lot of people.
Strikes were. And you know, I read articles about the victims of drones in Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia that haunt me till this day. You know, it's not just that there are victims that are killed by these drones, but children in other countries like Pakistan, they have PTSD because of the buzzing that they hear from drones. They feel as if they're being hunted. They feel as if, you know, whenever it's a sunny day, they don't want to go outside because the drones will be patrolling. People there know of other individuals who have been killed by U.S. drones. We've drone struck grandmas in their gardens. We've, you know, struck weddings. It's an egregious human rights violation. And not only should that end, but I think that it is incumbent on the U.S. government to pay reparations to anyone haunted by these drones. Anyone who lost a family member should be given reparations. It's such an egregious human rights violation. And so with Obama, he got in office, and once he took over, immediately he did what Trump did. He ramped up drones, and then when there were reports that they were killing a lot of innocent civilians, he scaled it back. And then right before he left office, you know, he tried to put in some mechanisms that would lead to greater transparency by the U.S. government about who we are killing and not killing. But Trump undid that like that. Right? He undid all of that easily, and he scaled up drones by 400%, more than 400%. So to see that Biden has brought it down to pre-Trump levels, but, you know, even lower than the time when Obama scaled them down, presumably, excellent news. This is a victory, and I think that Biden deserves a lot of credit. And sure, maybe it's temporary. The partial moratorium is only a partial moratorium, and they're conducting this comprehensive review. But for them to not come in guns blazing, that is actually different in comparison with his two predecessors. And it's a really good thing that I want to applaud. Credit where it's due. I have a lot of criticisms of Joe Biden, but when it comes to drones, I think this is a phenomenal development to know that he has drastically scaled back the use of drones. These are killers. They're illegal. They violate the territorial sovereignty of these countries who we are not at war with and haven't declared war with. And so not only are they illegal under U.S. law, but they're illegal under international law as well. So they have to stop. And the fact that he scaled them back dramatically, that's a really, really positive development. And I think it's important that he gets credit for this.
Okay. I agree. Yeah, I haven't seen this outlet either. But if true, that's wild. Hmm. I mean, the story is true. The story checks out, at least like other outlets have talked about it. So I'm going to assume that the general story of this intelligence analyst leaking information regarding like the drone strikes are I'm going to assume that this story is true. Unbelievable. All right, folks, we're gonna play a couple games before we head out. As a non-gamer, I've been addicted to Genshin Impact. What type of game is that? It's like some fantasy game where you defeat trolls and collect loot. Sounds lame when I explain it. I mean, hey, is it like an RT? Not an RTS. I love the music in Halo. I feel that. Not an RT, like an RPG. Is it like an RPG game? Anime style is going hard lately. True, big dangly things. True. Reminds me of Sword Art Online. Never actually watched that. Ooh, Halo 4. Alright.
SWAT.
Here we go.
Eliminate the enemy team. Gain the lead.
Gain the lead. Oh. It always takes me a second to, Yikes. Don't dox yourself, but didn't you turn 20-something or 30-something today? Yes. I am 20-something or 30-something, depending on who you ask. That is true. Oh. Come on, I just want what? Can I get a point on the board? I just want 1 point on the board. Oh, I see somebody.
Lost the lead.
If I get 1 point on the board, I'll be happy.
Lost the lead.
How did he not see me? Oh, come on.
Comeback.
Jesus Christ.
Head case. Gain the lead.
I got 2 points on the board, I'll be happy with that. Are you trying to fight for the center? Rip. I'm just happy to be here hanging out with you guys. Ooh. And playing. Ooh. Oh, come on. Oh. Boo. I mean, I have a feeling we're gonna get the W, but it won't be no thanks to me, that's for sure. Oh. Oh. Well, A for effort, trying to sneak up on them, okay? Boo.
Enemy team nearing victory. kill.
Yikes.
Game over.
Nice. Well done. Well done, team. Well done. Nifty 50. Hey. Back, come on. I think a couple games will do some good, yeah? Name of the map. Such a weird, like, ominous name. Edge. Lord Shrimp. I'm pretty sure I've played against this guy before.
Slayer.
Oh god. It's Magnums.
Gain the lead.
I joined on you saying it because it brought me back to playing Catherine. Wait, is this Halo 3 or Halo 4? This is Halo 3. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, this is Halo 4, I think. Nope, Halo 3. I hate the fact that you can't run in Halo 3. I think that was a game changer in Halo Reach and Halo 4 and above. What? Oh my god. I forgot that you could dual wield. So if you find an extra pistol on the floor. Scorched UKA? Are you a leftist? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Oh, come on. I had 2 pistols and I still lost that battle. My point of making that sarcastic comment was because it shouldn't matter. I'm not sure, like, what's the relevancy? You're assuming I'm now in politics? True. So what does it matter? What if I'm a lefty or not? I don't know what that, like, what the relevance is. My policies are my politics are simple. I want people to have food, housing, education, and healthcare. You don't understand the relevance of your political positions when it's streaming in no. Those are 2 different things. No, those are 2 different things. My politics or policies, positions, I guess you would say, are that I want everybody to have food, housing, education, and healthcare. I'm super, I'm really into advocating for bringing awareness to, like, climate change and things like that. I think that is the critical issue that we are facing, or we're going to face. Oh.
Game over.
So take that for what you will. Yay, I got 2 points on the board. I'm okay with that. 2 points, folks. 2 points for me. Alright, folks. I think we can do one more. I think we can handle one more. What? Turing News is not streaming anymore? Dang it. Okay. swatting them. Come on. Although... Bleep Blop Ben is doing a panel on land reform. There's also Tina. Ugh.
Gain the lead. Gain the lead.
Let's see if we can show up behind them. Okay. No, that works too. The problem with some of these Halo 3 maps is that they are a tad too big for this game type. Oh. I don't know, maybe I'm just not used to this map. That's okay. Oh, come on. Oh, up top, up top. Alright, I got him. Mind if it's your birthday? It is my birthday. True. That's why I'm having fun, alright? That's why I'm having fun playing video games. And, I'm glad that Touring News got to come on for a Bowman. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. I didn't even see that other guy. It seems like we've decided that the middle is like the meeting ground. Oh. Oh my god. How did I lose that battle? Oh, shoot.
Game over.
Game over. Cool. 5 points on the board. Sweet. Alright, folks. Unfortunately, that is all the time I have today. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out here. Quit the desktop. Yes. Folks, I really appreciate all of you guys being with me today. Thank you guys. Thank you for all the support. Thank you, Darknet. Thank you, Madame Defarge, Alio, Heat, and KTS Shine. Thank you so much for all the wonderful support, all the wonderful biddies, subs, and all that other stuff. I appreciate you guys. You guys are indeed what makes the channel grow. If you guys enjoy the content, don't forget to hit us up Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for news and politics. We will be here tomorrow for another extended version of the show. We're heading on over to the Majority Report as they are currently starting. So I appreciate all of you guys here. Thank you guys. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTubes, do the YouTubes and all that awesome stuff. And I appreciate your input for the new channel design layout. And my third and final, my second and final birthday wish is to treat each other kindly. Please be kind to each other, and spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next stream. See ya. All right, hang tight, folks. Thank you, Jesse James. I appreciate that. Thank you. Alright, folks. Hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.